On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me vivid visualizations. Welcome to day 6 of the 12 days of Christmas. We're halfway through. And today is New Year's Eve. Say hello to my little friend, Elvis Presley. Say hi, Elvis. Elvis is with us today. Elvis just wanted to say hi. We're going to send him back to the couch. So, welcome to the 6th day. Did you rise and alkalize? Did you get moving this morning and exercise? Begin to be grateful and appreciate all that is before you, all that is around you, all that is within you. Did you declare who you are? Have you tried the exercise? Saying, speaking, I am love. I love you. Did you try breathing? Did you try some of the breathing exercise? I hope you did. I hope you play full out. Remember, it's the small things that make a big difference. Today is day 6. Naturally, today is all about vivid visualizations. And I wrote a long blog post about visualizations. I first want to start by sharing why I do visualizations and what that process looks like. So as I'm walking, I'm moving, whether I'm on my rebounder like I am today, or I'm walking around my city, I'm walking down by the harbor. After I go through my declarations and after I go through my breath work, I then go into visualizing what I want to experience. So my question for you today is, what do you want to experience? What do you personally want to experience in 2015? You know, the life you lived in 2014 was totally up to you. For the most part, the thoughts that go on up here create what we experience out here. So in 2015, what do you want to experience? Do you want to experience romance? Do you want to experience meeting the love of your life? I know I do. Do you want to experience abundance financially and in every area of life? Some of the things that I visualize building a beautiful home. I visualize the details of that home. I visualize the couch in the home. I visualize where that home exists. I visualize the gardens that surround the home, the roses that are in those gardens, the plants that are in those gardens. I visualize speaking before people. I visualize being on different stages. I visualize the impact that my story, the insights, the knowledge, the wisdom that I've been given is going to have for many people. I visualize being with the love of my life. I visualize us supporting each other. I visualize us experiencing life together. I visualize these things. I visualize the happiness, the joy that those things bring. I visualize having a family. I visualize children. In the past year, I woke up one day actually and I had that vision. I woke up with the excitement of having a family around me. And so that was cool. So begin to visualize. Today is all about setting up the stage for 2015. You should be doing visualizations every day. Really honing in on what it is that you want to create and what it is that you want to experience. So take some time. Maybe go over to Pinterest or go down to the local bookstore and pick up some magazines. Maybe you want to travel like I do. I want to travel back to Hawaii, spend some time back in Hawaii and some of the different islands that I did not yet explore. I want to go over to Costa Rica and I want to explore what Costa Rica has to offer. I want to visit that blue zone, that place where people live the longest on the planet in Costa Rica, Tamarindo. I want to experience how those people live, the culture, the water they drink, which contributes to their longevity. The way that they operate from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. What is their rituals? What does that day look like for them? That's one of the things that I envision doing this year. But it's never going to happen unless I envision it happening. You see, everything I've ever created, products, iPhone apps, software, services, the whole 9 yards, everything I've ever created in my life all started with a thought. It all started with an envisioning of something. It all started with a thought. And so that thought then becomes a picture. That picture is a vision. And then it gets projected by me speaking it into existence. And as we speak things into existence, they begin to be created. God created the heavens and the earth by speaking them into existence. He did not just think about them. So it's important that you begin to see what you want to experience, see how you want to contribute in the world, see vision. But then we're going to take it a next step. We're going to challenge you to create a vision board of what it is that you vision, or create a mind movie where you create a PowerPoint or a keynote and you put these images onto the presentation. And you play that presentation every day. When you have some downtime, you go into vision, you go into dream mode. Some of the greatest people on the planet are dreamers. They dream up of a greater future. They dream up of a greater experience, a richer experience of life. And they dream up what it is that they are called to do and how they are called to be in the world. For me, I see myself speaking. I see myself on stages. I see myself given the opportunity to pour out, to allow God to flow through me to impact the lives of other people. Now that's a personal vision. Not everybody has the same vision of being on stages and being in God flow and being in that space where God simply flows through, gives me the words to say and touch the hearts of the people that are in the audience. That's a very unique vision to me. You should have your own very unique vision for yourself. I'll never forget this experience that I had when I was younger. I was in my teenage years. We always used to go to Ocean City, Maryland in the summers. We'd go for a week here and a week there. We'd go deep sea fishing for tuna and shark and marlin. Big game is what it's called. My brother and my dad and I went out one morning. We leave the docks at like 5:30, 6 a.m. We go 2 hours out into the nothingness, out into the deep blue, where there's nothing but ocean and your boat, and maybe another boat if you're lucky. And as we're out there, we started the journey. Threw out our 6 fishing lines, and we're off to the races. And as those lines were out, immediately we began to catch some tuna, 40, 50-pound tuna. And it was fun, it's exhilarating, it's exciting. When that line hits, and that fish grabs the hook and takes you for a ride, it's exhilarating. But I remember my brother getting sick, going back and forth from the bathroom to going into the cabin and sleeping and trying to sleep it off. Even though he was on Dopamine, he still had to sleep it off. And then a couple hours later, it was silence after silence, besides for our conversation that we had with the first mate and amongst ourselves, other people on the boat. There's a total of 6 of us at the time. And I went up to the top where the captain was sitting. He's up there steering the boat, cruising along. Trolling is what it's called. And as he's trolling the waters, I began to ask him about his experience and his journey and what he's caught before and where he's been. Inquisitive about his life, inquisitive about who he is, and inquisitive about what he's discovered. And as I'm sitting up there, I remember looking out over the vastness of the ocean. I remember looking out It was a beautiful sunny day with the sun beaming down, bright and hot. You certainly needed sunscreen that day. And as I was looking out, for a moment I prayed. I said, Lord, send us some fish. Send us some fish. It's been dry all day. Lord, send us fish. And after I prayed that prayer, I began to see myself and us amongst the boat. I saw us reeling in fish. I saw us experiencing the joy of reeling that fish in and reeling those fish in. And I envisioned every step of the process because I had seen it before. I was intimate with the process of a fish hitting the line, grabbing the hook, taking off with the line, and us pulling the rod, reeling it in, keeping the line tight so the fish had no slack to spit the hook. And as I began to visualize that experience, I saw a 15-foot hammerhead shark go cruising by the boat. This thing was massive, floating on top of the water, just cruising, hovering like a submarine, just as that fish went cruising by, I said to the captain, let's get that one. Let's go after that guy. He'd been dry. I wanted some kind of action, and this was the only action we had was this huge hammerhead, bigger than the size of the back of the boat, go cruising by our boat. It got my blood pumping. And within minutes, the line went crazy. All of a sudden, we're cruising along. The hammerhead shark had just passed. Now we're in anticipation. What's out there? There's got to be something else out there. And as we're in the anticipation of catching and reeling in a fish, the line goes zzz, and the line gets hit, and the fish jumps out of the water, and all of a sudden this big, beautiful marlin comes flying out of the water, electrifying. Blue stripes, beaming with blue. And it comes to find out that the only time that they're electrified is when they're in a state of fear. When it's flight or fight, they electrify, they come alive, they wake up, they shine in that moment of fear and they're jumping out of the water, wiggling around to spit the hook. Immediately, as that fish is in the air, jumping, going under the water and jumping again and flying around, the captain pushes it full throttle in reverse. Water comes billowing over the back of the boat, and it's flooding the back of the boat. Before you know it, there's a foot of water in the back of the boat as we're flying backwards, because if we didn't fly backwards fast enough, the fish was going to take off. This was a massive marlin. It was huge. And so as one of the other guys on the boat, sitting in the chair, had the line held tight, just holding it. There was nothing he could do. He couldn't reel because the fish was going out. He couldn't do anything. He had to sit there and hold tight and not let any slack in the line, because if any slack was left in the line, the marlin would have spit the hook. As soon as he had an opportunity to get a little bit of slack, that marlin would have spit the hook. But what happened was the marlin, as he jumped, he ended up wrapping himself in the line. And after about 10 times of jumping in the air, he no longer came up for any air. And so he was just going deeper and deeper and deeper and farther and farther and farther away as we were flying in reverse and reeling this fish in. And 4 hours later, we finally got him to the back of the boat. Bigger than the back of the boat was his body, huge blue marlin. His nose was bigger than, it was like 3 feet long. This thing was massive, of epic proportions. That day taught me a very valuable lesson about thinking about it, praying for an experience, and then seeing that experience in my mind as if it was already happening. I think it was God showing me the way in which things become real. Because before then, I wasn't thinking about the fish at all. I was kind of bummed that we weren't fishing, we weren't catching anything. Until I made that shift and said, Lord, send us fish. And as it says, ask and you shall receive. There's no ask and you may receive, it's ask and you shall receive. And I knew that verse. And I believe that God could deliver anything, even a fish on a line in the middle of the ocean, even though nothing was hitting for hours and hours on end. God can do more than we can think or imagine. So I challenge you today to begin to think about 2015 and think about what you want to experience this year. Do you want to experience intimacy on another level? Do you want to meet the love of your life? Do you want to experience more abundance financially? Do you want it to be easy to experience abundance? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to start a blog? Do you want to be a creator and contribute to the world? What is it that you see yourself doing? What do you love to do? What do you want to experience? That's the question for today. And this is a ritual that you'll do as you walk and as you rise and outglide, as you move. You begin to say what you appreciate and you're grateful for. And as you declare who you are for the world and for yourself and for God, and as you begin to breathe, you then begin to envision a greater future, envision a greater today, envision a greater tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in today. Happy New Year. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. I support you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be fun. Tomorrow is going to be exciting. And so is tonight. I'm sure I'll have a story for you because I'm already planning for what's about to be experienced this evening. I'll share that experience with you tomorrow. Again, have a blessed day, blessed evening. Be well. Stay blessed. I love you. See you tomorrow.